Okay, so it seems like we have an update on the entire Darlingstrawb situation. Now, Darlingstrawb has been through quite a bit of a kind of roller coaster, I guess, in terms of sponsorships and stuff. And if you guys remember, I actually went through a situation including Makeshift, a company that pretty much make merch and stuff for VTubers and other people as well. And essentially they dropped her due to the fact that she was associated with her husband Rev. Now, obviously, I think that whole guilt by association thing is so dumb, and I feel like, this happened so many times before where people get kind of dragged under the bus due to the fact of them, just being associated with someone, which I think is absolutely crazy, because obviously Strawberry is, completely different in terms of the content that she does. Obviously Rev, I've said this in my previous video, I feel like, it's pretty understandable why a company wouldn't want to partner with him due to a lot of the controversial content. And obviously, he can argue why he will or whatever. But again, I think that, maybe even he would admit that some of his content is pretty controversial. Now, does that mean a company should drop them? Probably not. But again, I think in the case of this one, though, I think Darlingstrawb has kind of, caught like a really terrible situation because she hasn't really done anything to actually warrant this apart from getting married, which is kind of crazy. And I've actually talked to her in DMs before, and she seems really nice. I mean, we talked a little bit about another situation which I thought was really cool, and I think that honestly she seems like a very nice person. I don't know why Makeshift would even decide to drop someone like this, because again, a lot of their content seems to be very good and seems to be very non-controversial. I mean, this is probably one of the most ideal people that you want to be, partnering up with. Now, it seems like there has been an update though to this, kind of thing. Obviously, this was the original post that we saw, obviously, of her saying that she's been blacklisted from any future campaigns for being associated. And now it seems like she has had an update on the Makeshift thing saying, "I'm happy to share an update after my conversations with Makeshift. They've apologized for the stress caused and acknowledged that their reasoning for not continuing our partnership was flawed. They've since made positive changes, stating that we have adjusted our partnership evaluation process moving forward, and we specifically aim to base our decisions on the content creator alone, not necessarily on those they associate with. This is a significant step forwards and a win for creators, ensuring fairer values, evaluations, and based solely on your own work," which, yeah, I think that is definitely the way that it should go forwards, especially for companies, big companies like Makeshift, who make these kind of, products and things. I think it's definitely the right way to go forwards by judging the person based on the content that they make, not by content that other people make, which this person has no real control over what they're doing. I know they're married, but, let's be real. I'm not going to be, if I was married, I wouldn't just be there be like, don't make this content, don't make this content. Obviously she could disagree with it or whatever. I mean, that's up to them. I don't really want to get involved with, what's going on behind there. But that's the thing, it's their own content. They can do whatever they want with it, and they don't have to support it, but they can also, still be married and still have a happy relationship. I think, some people trying to force her out of things just because of the association with Rev is completely stupid, because as I said, if you've seen her content, it's really, really good. Obviously they're saying, however, I'm still deeply disappointed to learn that Makeshift has not changed their decision when working with Rev. Rev has collaborated with Makeshift on 3 highly successful campaigns that brought new customers and value to their platform and made many fans happy with cute plushies with no change at all in his content since. Which, yeah, I definitely do think that's interesting. Obviously, as I said, I can understand a company not wanting to work with Rev from the get-go, like never before. I think what's weird with Makeshift is that they have worked on 3 successful campaigns with Rev over time, and now all of a sudden they're just like, actually, you know what, we don't wanna, which I think is very interesting. And obviously I think that was due to a switch up in who they partner with or something, as they said. But I think it is definitely interesting that they have been working with Rev for a very long time, and now they're just like, okay, never mind, we don't want to anymore. Which, yeah, I mean, especially when the content, as Strawberry puts it here, it hasn't really changed much. So again, that's definitely interesting. I definitely think that is much more interesting than a company just straight up refusing from the get-go, from the first time that they've ever interacted. But again, it's very interesting. They said, I've heard Makeshift recently welcomed a new CEO, and while I don't want to assume, I wonder if this shift has played a role in the decision. Ultimately, I've chosen not to continue working with Makeshift, even though they've welcomed me to do so. So yeah, she is not going to be actually working with them, even though they have allowed her back in. Is it because I don't believe their stance on Rev is fair or consistent? Which, yeah, I think that's interesting. And I think, yeah, obviously, if she wants to stand by her husband now and say that, you know, you don't want to work with them because they don't want to work with him. I think that is totally fair enough. And, you know, although Makeshift has, you know, kind of, you know, made up with this entire process, and they were like, okay, yeah, we're sorry, like, we didn't mean to do that, and like the association thing was that shouldn't be a thing that happens. It's still the case, though, that Strawberry won't be working with them due to the fact that they haven't let Rev back in either. They said, when one door closes, I trust God will open many more. I'm grateful for the past collaborations and Makeshift's professionalism in our talks. I wish everyone at Makeshift and all creators the very best moving forwards. God bless. So, yeah, obviously, it seems like, yeah, that is the whole update to that situation. So it seems that Strawberry won't be working with Makeshift, but has been allowed back in. She is not like blacklisted anymore. So if she wanted to turn around and go, actually, I want to, you know, do something with Makeshift one day, then maybe, you know, she probably could. Obviously, they're saying, well, I share your happiness on this change. I'm disappointed that Rev is still being singled out. Hopefully, you both can find partnerships elsewhere that won't waver in the face of public opinion. So don't worry, I'm also disappointed, but remaining hopeful because I know we have many other opportunities available to us and other companies that have already assured us that they have their backs, which again, it's great. It's great that a lot of other companies have been out there and supporting them because, again, I think that's the best way to go forwards. And I think, honestly, that's the best way for a company to really succeed there. I mean, Rev and also Strawberry, they're such big content creators. You know, you would definitely get a lot of sales. As they said, you know, they've had some successful campaigns, you know, with Makeshift. They've had 3 successful or highly successful campaigns with Makeshift. That's essentially free money. I'm gonna be real. Like, if you turn down someone like that due to the fact that you know you disagree with their content or whatever, you know, you're missing out on money. I mean, that's not a very business forward approach. That's what I'm saying. But again, obviously they're saying, yeah, Makeshift, you guys make great plushies. Said so cute, such a shame. I don't know if that person didn't like read through or something, because again, yeah, they're saying yay Makeshift, even though she literally announced that, you know, she won't be working with them anymore. You know, they said, my thoughts on this is that it's clear that they only did this because of the backlash, since otherwise I'm 100% sure they would have just given you some BS excuses and sent you on your way. They are undeserving of trust, and it was a matter of time before they pulled some other stuff. Said, yeah, oh, this is 100% because I went public with this, yes. Which, yeah, I think that's definitely true. I feel like Makeshift, sorry, I don't know why I'm saying Makeshift, they definitely obviously saw this tweet which came out. This got 600,000 views, which is pretty crazy. So again, you know, I'm sure they saw this tweet, and then that's what kind of prompted them to reach out to Strawb again. I don't know who reached out to who, but I'm assuming it was one way. And obviously, yeah, that's probably what kind of made them rethink their partnership with her due to a lot of the backlash that they were getting. Because again, there was a lot of backlash, as it is pretty ridiculous that she was being kind of like guilt by association with Rev, which I think was, yeah, pretty crazy from Makeshift's part. And yeah, obviously, Strawb was even saying, oh, that's 100% because I went public with it. And Rima also says here, I'm glad that they apologized at least. I said, also a perfect decision you made, Strawb, and a very professional and clear written tweet. I said, this is why you bring these things into the public light. Not only did they fix the mistake regarding you, but now there's a standard in place and Makeshift that ensures its creators will not be punished for those they associate with. As always, on to the next thing for us, which obviously, yeah, Rev is, you know, decided not to go down like the attacking route here. Obviously, he could easily just go, it's ridiculous, so they won't let me in, blah, blah, blah. But obviously, he's just been like, okay, let's just move on. Let's just go to the next company. Like, let's be real. It's just like, it's so dumb. And it is very, very dumb. And obviously, yeah, as Rev points out there, it's very good, though. Even though Strawb isn't going to be working with Makeshift personally, it seems like it's improved a lot of the kind of creator space and how creators work with Makeshift in the future. Because again, obviously, they said they underwent some kind of like change up in who they work with and stuff. So obviously this hasn't just affected them, it's probably affected many other creators, and I'm hoping that some of those also got saved from a lot of this drama that has come out from this kind of stuff that's gone on, because again, you know, it should help out people even if Strawb isn't going to be continuing her kind of partnership with them. Which I think is pretty great. Obviously, people saying progress, even if it's not everything that it should be, I'm still not purchasing from them going forwards. I'll donate to creators directly instead of bypassing the middleman. So I'm proud of you for speaking up and bringing positive change. It's a start, but it sounds like their standards are still loosely on whatever is going to be that is controversial, which, yeah, is definitely true. That's what it seems like, you know, is the priority for Makeshift, is the fact of like, will we get a lot of controversy from this? You know, what is the way that we can get the least amount of drama going on and the least amount of negative attention towards us? And obviously, I think letting Strawb back in was one of those ways. And, you know, kicking out Rev was another one of those ways for them. And I think, obviously, you know, I think some companies need to take extra steps whenever it comes to, you know, just trying to invite some more people that maybe are a little bit more controversial, but, you know, aren't just like straight up weird. You know, there's a lot of people out there who are very controversial, but like also at the same time, they're just normal, you know, nice people. I mean, let's be real. And, you know, I think, for example, like gamer subs, you know, we've seen this in the past with VTubers and things. People have been calling for people to remove, you know, VTubers sponsorships with gamer subs. For example, like I think it's Kiosha. She was one of the ones that was affected by this, with people like contacting gamer subs saying, you know, you need to remove them from your partner thing. And, you know, to this day, Kiosha is still with gamer subs, and that's because they don't care. And I think that's one of the best things about gamer subs is the fact that they don't care how much controversy you get in, unless it's something absolutely ridiculous. You know, they won't, you know, kind of kick you out for anything. And the same goes for like false allegations and things. Obviously, we've had the thing with Tectone that's been coming out. They haven't done anything about that. If not, they've partnered with him more. You know, they don't care about like random allegations which are false against people, which again I think is also a good company move, because it seems like they're not focused on the fact of like, how can we save face, how can we save this, how can we save that. They're just focused on the fact of getting every creator they possibly can involved in such a big kind of company. And I think that is honestly great. And I think, yeah, I think that's why I work with them and why a lot of other creators work with them at the moment. And obviously as well, Strawb also said something about you know, some copyright stuff as well, which has been affecting them, as well as some people also making up emails after a lot of this drama has gone on. So again, definitely watch out for that kind of stuff. But again, it seems like things are going in a more positive direction for them. I hope that she can find some new sponsors that can, you know, obviously do things better and work with them better and not do this whole guilt by association thing, which obviously is plaguing the space at the moment. But yeah, that is an overall you know, update to this situation for Darlingstrawb. And yeah, I'll keep you guys up to date if there's anything, you know, else coming out from this. I doubt there will be, but again, you know, I'll keep you guys up to date if there is. But yeah, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you guys did enjoy this video. Also go to GameSubs, use my code Kazo, get 10% off again. They got a ton of really cool stuff over there. I definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.